Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. In our last video, we treated the 2021 WAEC GCE Economics Objective Past questions. And in this video, we shall provide answers to the first 25 questions in 2022 WAEC GCE Economics questions. Question 1. The basic economic problem of for whom to produce focuses on how to dash. The basic economic problems of for whom to produce focuses on how to dash. A. Address the issue of rapid rural development. B. Resolve the problems associated with trade. C. Resolve which member of the society's needs should be met. And D. Employ more people to produce goods and services. The correct answer to the question is option C. Resolve which member of the society's needs should be met. For whom is about who gets the goods. Which people in the society will benefit from what is produced. Question 2. Highways and defense, which are provided by government, are best described as dash. Highways and defense, which are provided by government, are best described as dash. A. Scarce goods. B. Necessary goods. C. Public goods. And D. Producers' goods. The correct answer to this question is option C, public goods. Public goods are things provided by the government for everyone to use. That is why highways and defense are called public goods. They are meant for the whole society. Question 3. The stock of partly finished goods is an example of dash. The stock of partly finished goods is an example of dash. A. Fixed capital. B. Circulating capital. C. Social capital. And D. Investment capital. The correct option to this is B. Circulating capital. Partly finished goods are circulating capital because they don't last forever. They are used and replaced in the process of production. Question 4. The problem of how to produce in a free market economy is best solved by dash. The problem of how to produce in a free market economy is best solved by dash. Option A. Using capital-intensive method of production. Option B. Consulting experts to provide the problem. C. Choosing the production techniques that has the lowest cost. And D. Adopting labor-intensive production. The correct answer to the question is option C. Choosing the production technique that has the lowest cost. So in the free market economy, businesses want to make as much profit as possible. And to do this, they must reduce cost while still producing enough goods. So when deciding how to produce, firms compare different methods and choose the one that costs less money but still works efficiently. Question 5. Which of the following is a disadvantage of the arithmetic mean? Which of the following is a disadvantage of the arithmetic mean? A. It is difficult to calculate. B. It tends to ignore extreme values. And C. It may not be useful for further calculation. D. It is easily affected by extreme values. The correct answer is option D. It is easily affected by extreme values. A few very large or very small numbers can distort the mean. Number 6. A commodity whose coefficient of price elasticity of demand is greater than 1 but less than infinity as dash. A. Fairly elastic demand. B. Fairly inelastic demand. C. Perfectly elastic demand. And D. Perfectly inelastic demand. The correct answer to the question is option A. Fairly elastic demand. So when elasticity is greater than 1, it means that the quantity demanded changes more than the price change. Question 7. A fruit drink company detects that the price elasticity of demand for their juice is greater than 1 but less than infinity. To increase total revenue, the company must dash. A. Increase its price. B. Hold its price constant. C. Reduce its price. And C. D. Reduce the quantity supplied. The correct answer to the question is option C. Reduce its price. So if elasticity of supply is greater than 1, or elasticity of demand is greater than 1, demand is elastic. That is, buyers respond strongly to price changes. This means a price cut will make sales rise by a larger percentage. This means that a price cut will make sales to rise by a larger percentage because the increase in sales is bigger than the fall in price. So the company's total revenue goes up. Question 8. If a 10% fall in the price of a commodity leads to a 25% increase in its quantity demanded. If a 10% fall in the price of a commodity leads to a 20% increase in the quantity demanded, it is described as dash. A. Inelastic. B. Elastic. C. Unitary elastic. And D. Perfectly inelastic. The correct answer to the question is option B. Elastic. Quantity changed by 25% is more than the price that changed by 10%. So in that situation, we're going to have an elasticity that is greater than 1. So the correct answer is elastic demand. Question 9. The movement from point Q and R in the diagram below is caused by an increase in dash. The movement in point Q to R in the diagram below is caused by an increase in dash. A. Price of the commodity. B. Income taxes. D. Cost of production. And D. Disposable income. The correct answer is disposable income. That is, when disposable income increases, it shifts demand outward, thereby moving the equilibrium to a new point. You can see in this diagram that the initial equilibrium point was at point Q. But as a result of an increase in disposable income, the demand curve shifted to the right from D1 to D2 and from point Q to point R. Number 10. The supply of a commodity is perfectly inelastic. The supply of a commodity is perfectly inelastic if its coefficient is dash. The supply of a commodity is perfectly inelastic if its coefficient is dash. A. 0. B. 1. C. Burden between 1 and 5. And C. Quantity equal to utility infinity. The correct answer is 0. If supply is perfectly inelastic, it means suppliers cannot increase or reduce quantity no matter the price. The elasticity value here will remain 0. Question 11. A fall in the price of a commodity which has elastic supply will result in dash. A fall in the price of a commodity which has elastic supply will result in dash. A. An increase in supply. B. A fall in sales revenue. C. An increase in total revenue. And D. The expansion of the firm. The correct answer is option B. A fall in sales revenue. If price falls, producers reduce the quantity they are willing to supply by a big percentage. So when supply is elastic, a fall in price will equal to a fall in sales revenue. Question 12. The backward bending supply curve for labor indicates that eventually labor supply dash. The backward bending supply curve for labor indicates that eventually labor supply dash A increases as wage increases, B decreases with population growth, C rises as demand for goods and services decrease, and D decreases as wage increases. The correct answer is D, decreases as wage increases. When wages become very high, many workers feel they already earn enough. Instead of working extra hours, they choose to enjoy more leisure time. This makes the supply of labor go down even though wages are going up. Question 13. If the supply function of a commodity is Qs equals to 70 plus 0.5p and quantity supplied is 100 units, price is dash. If the supply function of a commodity is Qs equals to 70 plus 0.5p and quantity supplied is 100 units, price is dash. A $6, B $34, C $60, and D $340. The correct option is C, $60. How do we arrive at $60? Now let's see here that the quantity supplied given to us in the question is 100 units. The quantity supplied in the question is 100 units. So when you insert this 100 units into the supply function, Qs will be 100 plus 70, Qs which is 100 equals to 70 plus 0.5p. Then you collect like terms. When you collect like terms, we have 100 minus 70 equals to 0.5p. So 100 minus 70 will give you 30. So we are going to make p the subject of the formula. So by dividing the both sides by 0.5. So p will now give us $60. That's for question 13. Question 14. An individual consumes 2 bottles of soft drink. The satisfaction derived from consuming the second bottle is the dash. An individual consumes 2 bottles of soft drink. The satisfaction derived from consuming the second bottle is the dash. A. Marginal cost. B. Average cost. C. Marginal utility. And D. Average utility. The correct answer is option C, marginal utility. Marginal utility is the extra satisfaction you get from consuming one more unit of a good. So the enjoyment from the second bottle is what we refer to as marginal utility. Question 15. Government may bring down the price of a good without legislation by dash. Government may bring down the price of a good without legislation by dash. A. Fixing the price below the equilibrium. B. Increasing wages of workers. C. Granting subsidies to its producers. And D. Closing down firms that violate legislated price. The correct answer to this question is option C, granting subsidies to its producers. A subsidy is a financial help that government gives to producers, such as money and tax reduction. So with subsidies, producers' cost of production becomes lower, and this makes them to be able to produce more goods at cheaper prices. Question 16. A reduction in a firm's cost of production resulting from the existence of other firms is dash. A reduction in a firm's cost of production resulting from the existence of other firms is dash. A. Diseconomies of scale. B. External economies of scale. C. Internal economies of scale. And D. Decreasing returns to scale. The correct answer to the question is option B, external economies of scale. External economies come from the industry environment, such as better roads, shared suppliers, and so on. Question 17. When a firm doubles its input and as a result, output is more than double. When a firm doubles its input and as a result, output is more than doubled, the firm is experiencing dash. A. Constant rate of production. B. Increasing returns to scale. C. Constant returns to scale. And D. Decreasing returns to scale. The correct answer is option B. Increasing returns to scale. Return to scale looks at what happens to output when all inputs are increased together. So if inputs such as labor, machines, and raw materials are doubled and output increases by more than double, the firm enjoys increasing return to scale. Question 18. Wages paid to casual workers are regarded as dash. Wages paid to casual workers are regarded as dash. A. Fixed cost. B. Variable cost. C. Marginal cost. And D. Fixed and variable cost. The correct answer is option B. Variable cost. Variable costs are costs that change depending on how much is produced. A casual workers are paid based on the amount of work or hours they put in. That makes their wages a variable cost. Question 19. If a firm's short-run average variable cost of production is falling, if a firm's short-run average variable cost of production is falling, it means dash. Average variable cost curve is above average total cost curve. Marginal cost curve is below average variable cost curve. C. Average fixed cost is constant. And D. Total cost is falling. The correct answer is option B. Marginal cost curve is below average variable cost curve. That is, if MC is less than AVC, then AVC goes down. That's why when AVC is falling, it means MC is below AVC. Question 20. A monopolist who wants to increase his sales. A monopoly who wants to increase his sales revenue should mainly dash. A monopoly who wants to increase its sales revenue should mainly dash. A. Produce more goods and increase its price. B. Increase its price or reduce output. C. Prevent other producers from selling. And D. Engage in rigorous advertisement. The correct answer to this question is option B. Increase its price or reduce output. A monopoly is the only seller in the market. Because of this, the monopolist controls the price by controlling the output. So if you want to raise revenue, you can increase the price directly or reduce output, which will lead to scarcity. Question 21. The demand curve of a perfect competitive firm is dash. The demand curve of a perfectly competitive firm is dash. A. Perfectly inelastic. B. Perfectly elastic. C. Fairly inelastic. And D. Fairly elastic. The correct answer is option B. Perfectly elastic. A price-taking firm faces a horizontal demand at the market price. This means the firm can sell anything, any quantity at the given price, but not at a higher price. Question 22. The liability of a shareholder is limited if dash. The liability of a shareholder is limited if dash. A. His private properties can be sold to repay the company's debt. B. He can lose more than the capital invested. C. Its private properties cannot be sold to pay debt of the business. And D. It can only be sued by the debtors of the business during losses. The correct answer to this question is option C. Its private properties cannot be sold to pay debt of the business. So a limited liability means a shareholder can only lose the amount he or she invested, not its personal assets. Question 23. A partnership cannot fund its business through dash. A partnership cannot fund its business through dash. A. Plowed back profits. B. Loans from a bank. C. Loans from friends. And D. The sale of shares. The correct answer is option D. The sale of shares. Partnerships are private businesses, not public companies. That's why they cannot raise money by selling shares. Question 24. Small retailers are able to survive the competition from large retailers. Small retailers are able to survive the competition from large retailers because the former dash. A. Enjoy economies of large-scale production. B. Are able to offer opportunities for window shopping. C. Are situated at convenient locations close to buyers. And D. Are able to buy in bulk and sell at lower prices. The correct answer is option C. Are situated at convenient location close to buyers. So small shops often survive because they are nearby and convenient, while large retailers may be far away. Question 25 and the last question for this very part 1 of 2022 GCE Economics Past question. Unemployment arising from demand deficiency is dash. Unemployment arising from demand deficiency is dash. A. Frictional unemployment. B. Structural unemployment. C. Residual unemployment. And D. Voluntary unemployment. In this question, none of the options is correct. None of the correct options is correct because the correct answer is cyclical unemployment. Cyclical unemployment happens when there is not enough demand for goods and services in the economy. Because businesses are not selling enough, they reduce production and lay off workers. This usually happens during economic recession or when the economy is not doing well. So unemployment that arises from demand deficiency is cyclical unemployment. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends who are preparing for WAEC. So in our next video, we are going to look at the last part of 2022 objective questions. So drop a comment below if you want me to make a video on how to solve a specific topic in economics.